Stateless auto configuration is pretty awesome, but it's very limited because the clients are only able to configure their IPv6 address and receive the default gateway information. As a result, there is no DNS server provided. There's no NTP information provided. Server. Stateless auto configuration is pretty awesome. Not a whole lot you have to do in order to configure the end stations with IPv6 addresses and default gateways. But that's all you can do. What about the DNS information that's needed for our end stations? No, that's not provided, as of yet anyways, with stateless auto configuration. NTP IP address? No. What about a TFTP server IP address for Cisco IP phones? Nope, not that either. The IP address of a wireless LAN controller? No, it's not in there either with stateless auto configuration. So we don't have a whole lot of control or options when using stateless auto configuration. So if we go to the far end of the spectrum of options we have for IP address assignment with IPv6, we can utilize DHCPv6. So set up a server that's going to be utilized just like we had with IPv4, so like a DHCPv4 server. We get much more control than we have with stateless auto configuration. But we have to understand here how the client operates. The client is designed to first detect the presence of a router on the link. So it's sending out the router solicitation messages. It's waiting for router advertisement messages. Why? Because it's designed to do what? It's designed to get the prefix from the router advertisement and configure its own IPv6 address using stateless auto configuration. There's no button to shut off stateless auto configuration. So, if the device finds or receives a router advertisement, then it looks at the prefix and it does what? Configures its own IPv6 address. But we want it to receive an IPv6 address from a DHCPv6 server. So what can we do? Well, one of the things we can do is identify inside the router advertisement that we do not want the client to use stateless auto configuration. So the interface that is sending out that router advertisement, in this case interface VLAN 10, which is going to be sending the router advertisement out to all those to all those devices in VLAN 10. Well, what we can do is we can set up IPv6. This is part of the neighbor discovery process. And we can say managed config flag. By turning on this managed config flag, we are telling the host that they will use DHCP for their address configuration. So managed config flag. The other option we have is to shut off router advertisements. We could use the command IPv6 neighbor discovery RA for router advertisement control, and we can say suppress. We can suppress those IPv6 router advertisements, and therefore the client will never get a router advertisement. And when it does not receive the router advertisement, then it determines that no router is found, and since no router is found, it's going to go through the DHCP process. So if you turn on the managed config flag or you shut off router advertisements, once the client determines, well, there's no router out there, or I'm supposed to use a DHCP server, it goes through the DHCP process, and it starts this by sending a DHCP solicit message.